Hello, my dear. Looks like I'm already online. Please write if you can hear me and if you can see me. Please write if everything is okay with our connection. And write down again, do you see me and is everything okay now? Today we have such situation that I am live on Facebook and on Instagram and here on YouTube at the same time. Wait a second. 1 second, there's something with Facebook. I'm trying to solve a problem. Oh, now it works. Perfect. We can continue now. Okay, hello my dear, hello again. Now you should see me everywhere. And please write down below how do you hear me here on YouTube. Is everything okay there? Write me how can you hear me and then we will start.
Напишите, пожалуйста, как слышно, и мы начнем.
For some reason I can't go live on Facebook. Done? I hope it's done. Okay, so I see that you can hear me on Instagram but not on Facebook. Okay. Yeah, and here on YouTube you hear me perfectly. Okay, we will start soon, just 3 seconds. Okay, you can hear me nice. And while we are getting together, there is not so many of us yet, so I will try to go live on Facebook once again. Yeah, but looks like it's not working. So then we will be without Facebook, but let's not be sad about it. How are you today? And where are you from? Write down below, please. Where are you from and how are you? And also please write down below how oftenly in your life you faced manipulations. What do you think about it and what do you know about gaslighting? Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't work with Facebook. Canada is with us today. Ukraine, Russia, Sweden, Kazakhstan. Nice. Nice. Okay, I see you. Samira, Russia, and I see also Ukraine. Yeah, I'm also in a good mood today, besides troubles with Facebook. Anyways. Today we will talk on a topic that is very important for our life, because often it happens that people do something to us and we can't catch it. For example, when a burglar tries to rob our house, it's always done very secretly, but after we can see it. But when we are dealing with mental abuse, we can never catch it by our eyes. So if we are talking about manipulations, which is our main topic today, then it's very hard to recognize it. Especially it's hard to do for the people with low self-esteem who tend to doubt themselves. Now I want you to answer this question. Has it ever happened to you when you knew you were 100% right, but other person was convincing you that you were not? Or that your friend or boyfriend or your mother or parents convinced you that you are totally wrong when you know that you have the truth?
что это так, что вы правы, что все окей, что без задней всякой мысли. Но вас убеждают, что неправы именно вы. Иногда так бывает.
Sometimes it happens that when we see something and notice it and tell to the person that they did something wrong to us, this person starts to turn the table and tell us that it's our guilt and we are wrong. I see people confirming they had such situations in the comments. Oh, my Sonia came to me. She loves when I'm live and she always comes to me, and she is always our special guest. People from YouTube know it already, so those who watch me on Instagram now, greetings from Sonia.
Из YouTube люди уже знают, пишут, Соню встречают. А вам всем привет, Соня.
And I see there is so many people today, and I know this topic is very important, and I want to finally start it.
Все никак не разражусь, не приступлю. Смотрите, друзья.
Look, when we are talking about gaslight, it's the most dangerous manipulation because it makes us doubt our mind. Totally, yeah, totally.
В прямом смысле этого слова. То есть газлайтинг – это некая штука, которая расшатывает наше сознание.
It's something that shakes our mind. And let's take examples for it. Let's take a situation when you come somewhere and tell your story, for example, and somebody starts to convince you, no, it wasn't this way. Or, for example, you know that something didn't happen, but this person says, no, remember you did this last year. You say that you don't remember it, and they continue, oh, you just forgot, you did this and this. See, they're trying to convince you. Another great example is when you're being offended and having low self-esteem. And gaslighters do it very oftenly. For example, when you are arguing, or for example, they didn't come on your date, and you tell them that their actions offended you, and while you say this, they start to convince you it was your fault that they didn't come or they came late. Why didn't you think why I came late? Maybe because I didn't want to see you, as if it was your fault. And then they start to immediately remember what you did to them years ago to show you in a bad light. And it even may be a lie, but they continue to convince you you are the bad one. Experienced gaslighter will always make you guilty. And there's actually a very good movie which is called Gaslight. It's a very old movie from 1944, but you can at least read the description if you don't want to see it, because this movie shows exactly what happens when you are being gaslighted. Yes, the person is in uncertain state and they start to justify and offer excuses. Gaslighter can influence everyone because you have no idea that somebody can manipulate you like that. And usually gaslighters are psychopaths, yes, but now I want to talk and pay attention more on the meaning of gaslighting. And now please write down in a comment situation that happened to you when you knew the truth, that you were right. You knew it for 100%, but the other person, your friend or closed person, was convincing you in a different opinion, and he changed everything to make you guilty, or he tried to convince you that it's not only his fault, and you also did him bad.
идет какая-то мощная с его стороны штука, да, то есть или 50 на 50 он говорит, ну ты тоже должна или должен передо мной там извиниться или еще что-то. Человек насильно делает
Somebody
себя
comments
дураком,
that this
да, и
person
это делает
abusively
он
makes you
не
look
то, что
stupid.
насильно,
Yeah,
он говорит,
but I
ты
wouldn't
дурак,
say he does
но
it
Газлайтинг
abusively because
обвиняет,
he
правда.
doesn't
Он
really say
говорит,
you are
подожди, а
stupid, but
ты,
he
а
blames
посмотри
you
на
and
себя,
makes you
а
think
как
like
ты
that.
себя
He
ведешь. И вы
says, but
говорите
wait,
человеку
what
тому,
about you?
зачем ты
You did
обманываешь
this and
людей?
this and
А
this,
он
look
ему
at
говорит, я
yourself. How do
обманываю.
you
А ты
act?
что, очень честная?
Or
Ты
you
на
say
себя
to this
посмотри.
person,
А ты
why do
вот
you keep lying
как
to people?
поступаешь?
And he
Ну вот ты
responds,
тоже
me?
нечестная. Ты вот
Are
мне
you sure
спасибо за
you are
проезд
being
тогда-то и
honest? Look at
тогда-то.
how you act.
Вот
You
ты там
also lie.
с
You was
огородом.
wrong here
Да,
and
вот так было
etc.
с ним
So this
по-моему.
person
Смотри,
brings to you such
какие-то штуки
words that
такие
you
вам
even start
подбрасывают,
to
да, что вы
look at
начинаете
yourself differently. You
смотреть на
start to
себя уже
think
по-другому, что вы в
that
чем-то
that
виноваты,
you are really
да, что вы
guilty.
сами не без греха. Моя мать газлайтер,
Somebody
ненавижу ее
writes
за
that their
ошибки.
mother gaslights them and they hate her. Yeah, I'm sorry for that.
Мой бывший мужчина переворачивал
Another
все мои
one.
слова
My
с ног на голову,
ex-boyfriend
чтобы расстаться.
changed all
Делал
my
меня
words
виноватой и
I
ушел.
was saying to
Да.
broke up with me. He made me
Моя
guilty
близкая
and
подруга
lived.
сделала так, чтобы
Yeah.
чтобы
My
себя с
close
себя вину
friend did
снять.
this to
Да,
get
да,
rid of
спроси
her
подругу,
guilt.
которая
Yeah, yeah,
соблазнила
yeah, yeah.
вашего мужа, к
Or,
примеру.
for
А
example, a
другая
friend
типа,
who took your
она вот
husband
говорит,
and she says,
а ты
but
сама
it's your guilt,
виновата,
dear. You
дорогая.
told me you have
А
so
ты
much
сама
work
мне
and can't give him
рассказывала, что ты там
attention
на работе
for so many
запариваешься,
days, and
даешь
I
ему.
don't have this problem,
Смотри,
so
меня.
it's your guilt.
Вот так вот. А
And
я-то
every
нет.
gaslighter, abuser will
Сама
say it's
виновата.
your
Своей
guilt.
опытной
If you were
газлайтерше
wearing a
говорит,
short dress, it's your fault
насильнику
they did
говорит,
this
ты
to you.
сама виновата, ходила в короткой юбке, соблазняла меня, курва, и теперь я не выдержал, ты сама
And the
виновата.
thing
Смотрите,
is
очень
that
часто
even
общество
society
выступает
oftenly
в
gaslights.
роли газлайтера.
Now I want to talk
Общество
more
как-то
why
чересчур,
they
сейчас
do
мы
that, because
говорим
not
чересчур,
always
почему
they are
они так делают?
sociopaths
Не
or
всегда они
psychopaths.
социопаты и психопаты, поймите.
And for brave
Я
ones,
за
I will
смелость дам
give
задание
homework
поймать себя на
for
газлайте,
this
потому
week
что мы делаем
to
это
catch
все.
yourself
Никто
when
из
you are
нас, но очень
gaslighting,
мало кто
because we
такой
all
осознанный,
do that.
ставит
Not
себя в
everyone is
позу,
so
согласиться.
self-conscious to control
Очень
it and
многие
be
собираются
responsible
далеко.
for
Как
their
яркий пример,
words.
вот помните, да, там
And it's actually very, very
девушка
hard
история,
for
да?
society to
Девочка-подросток
deal
была
with
изнасилована. Ну, при
anxiety.
всех обстоятельствах
Let's
там, почему
remember
она была
this TV
пьяной, там
series
потом
where
все истории
teenage
и
girl
прочее.
was
Хотя вообще не
raped,
понимаю, что
and
такого
people made
подростки
her a monster
поступают
because they
вообще
found
в
out she
сраку
was very
пьяные вообще
drunk at
себя
that
ведут,
moment.
а?
But who
Все
gets
поголовно.
surprised
И вы
knowing
с
that
вами
teenagers
вместе
can get
будете.
drunk?
Никак
And
не
all of them
сделаете.
do this, and even
Вот.
me and
Все
you also did
обвинили,
this
да,
when we were young.
все общество
So
набросилось. Все.
I have no
Ты сама
idea why
виновата.
they
Ты
made a
взяла и
monster
никак
from
не
her
может.
and made her
Не может
guilty,
быть виновата.
and all
Кто
society
так
was
делал?
blaming her
Была
that it was
подмена этого
totally her
понятия.
fault
Вместо
and as if she
изнасилования
behaved wrong.
было выставлено
But
ее
why
какое-то
did
там
society do that to her?
ну,
Because
да,
they
там
changed
какой-то
names.
вот такой.
Instead of
Что
talking
было,
about
что
rape,
происходит?
they
Общество
talked
не
about
имеет,
her
ну как
depraved
очень
behavior
трудно
as if it was
с кем
true
ты
and it was
живешь
the
в
reason.
обществе,
And
где
it's
убивают,
very, very
насилуют,
hard for
где кого-то там,
society
не знаю,
to
там
put up
сажают
with the
тебя там
fact that people get killed,
втроем, а ты нет,
raped,
и все очень
abused,
тяжело,
and
поэтому
it's
обществу хочется
very
сказать,
hard.
что
So
со
the
мной
society
такого
tries to
не
convince itself
будет.
like it's
Почему
not
же я
going to
так не
happen to
бываю?
me
Все,
because I
вот,
don't
а ты
drink and
бухала, поэтому
don't get
хочется
drunk like
до
she
нее
did.
одну
So it's her fault, and it
Наши
happens because of
часто
this.
говорят женщине,
So they
мужчина бьет
show
жену, а она никак не
responsibility
может
on a victim.
вместо того,
And
чтобы
usually it
разобраться,
happens
что у
when a
взрослого
woman gets
человека
beaten by
происходит.
her
Почему эта
husband and
женщина
can't
не
leave
уходит?
him. Why?
Не
Let's
уходит
try
в
to
общество
understand
ее,
what goes
судит,
on in the brain
мешает,
and think why
добивает,
this
говорит,
woman
она
doesn't
дура, со
leave
мной
him even
никогда
though
такого
she's
не будет.
pretty
Почему?
smart, like
Потому что
she's not
хочется
stupid.
верить, что со мной такого не
Because
будет. Никогда.
society
Вот
judges
так
her,
спокойнее. И
humiliates
в
and
этом
finishes
случае,
her,
в
saying
очень таком, в
she's
этом
just
случае мы
stupid
с вами
and
часто
it's never
поступаем
gonna happen to
согласно.
me. Why?
Так что,
Because they
друзья мои,
truly
давайте
want to
честно
believe
смотреть и на
they will
себя,
be
и на
safe if
других.
they act
Кто
different
из
way
вас
and
не
that it's never
защищался
going to happen
в
to them.
споре? Кто из вас в споре не
And
говорил,
being in this state of
подожди, в
mind, these
смысле
people
я, а ты
gaslight
чё, да
the
ты
victims.
постоянно опаздываешь, я сегодня
So,
опоздала,
my
помнишь,
friends,
ты
let's
когда
look soberly at
опаздывал, кто
ourselves.
опаздывал,
Which
кто
one of you didn't
защитился, а
defend them
кто,
in
это
an
какой
argument by
сон.
turning the
И в
table to
этом
the
смысле, вот
opponent's
в таком
fault? Why me? You always come in late. I came late today, but you do it all the time. So this way they are defending themselves. It's like a ping pong. And in this manipulation, in this case, gaslighting is an everyday manipulation. And today I would like you to understand that manipulations is our whole life. I just wrote you an email to come to my webinar to know about the most dangerous manipulation. And what did I do? I manipulated you. I made you to come here. If I called you, I made you to pick up the phone. That's why manipulations are our whole life. But today I want to talk about gaslighting, that it's dangerous for our psyche and our mind. And yes, you're right, every one of us does it. Many people do it every day. Oh, look how many haters I got. Hold on, wait a second. I will just block them to clean the comments. Yeah, just did it. Yeah, I blocked them, you guys. Don't worry and ask me your questions in the comments. And if I didn't see your question, I will not find it again, so better write it down once more. I'm talking to people on my YouTube live. I see that it's all okay on Instagram, so those who wrote their questions, please write them again, because unfortunately I can't scroll back. What gaslighter can also do? Gaslighter denies the facts and he says, I never did this, even if he truly did. Even if you keep proving when and where and how it was, gaslighter is adamant. No, I never told you this. You are insane. Are you insane? This never happened. I'm in shock. What are you saying? You imagined this. It's not true. Are you sure it's true and not your imagination? Yeah, that's exactly what they say. And also, maybe it was a dream. Did you dream about it? And he also does this face and denies everything. And when you clearly said, you just humiliated me, why did you do this? He said, oh, so you understood only 2% of my speech. When did I do this? I didn't. So look what was done. They played on your emotions and used sarcasm, very strong sarcasm. They've put you in a place of an idiot without saying you're an idiot. So this is truly a substitution of concepts, this sarcasm with passive aggression. And gaslighting is actually a passive aggression. So they will never say directly to you that you are crazy and etc. They just guess it and hint you to understand it yourself so that you will doubt your own thoughts. And that's how parents usually do homework with their kids. They say, what are you doing right now? Look, what is this? What do you think you are doing? And my driving instructor was saying this to me. And where is your hands placed now? Where are they? I'm in shock from you. So you kind of became stupid when they talk to you like that. So this person just puts you in this situation where he's doubting your thinking and intellectual skills. Who has a risk to get gaslighted? Person with weak boundaries,
людям
with
со слабыми
weak personal boundaries.
слабыми внутренними границами. Людям,
People
которые
are
очень
very
чувствительны,
sensitive and
очень
suspicious
искренне
because
говорят
their
друг
parents
другу.
also
У
use
них
it to
чаще
speak
всего
to them like
похоже.
that. And
Вот.
it's very,
Когда
very
с
sad
ними так
when
часто
our parents
разговаривали,
become our first
возможно, к
gaslighters,
сожалению,
when they
самыми
start
первыми
to put
газлайтерами
us
в
in
нашей
this
жизни
position
были
by
наши
using
родители,
hints.
когда они
Because gaslighters always only hint on
начинают
things.
нас
And
там,
they always refer to your
иногда,
inability,
ну,
impossibility, to your
типа
blonde
намекать,
hair, for
да,
example, to your
газлайтеру немножко
stupidness,
намекать.
naivety, and
Что
they
еще
ask you if
газлайтер делает? Он
you are sure
ссылается на
everything is okay with you.
вашу
Maybe you should visit a doctor to
неинформированность,
check yourself
невозможность,
because looks like there is
глупость,
something wrong with your
лояльность,
understanding ability.
недалекость. Он как бы, слушай, он говорит, ну у тебя все нормально вообще? Может, ты к доктору сходишь? Может, проверишься? Может, у
And
тебя
they also even ask you if you are in this world or
вообще
in
с
another
пониманием,
one. Now,
да? Иногда он просто спрашивает, ну ты там вообще как? В реальности? Ты что, забыл? Да,
for
например,
example,
вообще
this person didn't tell you
не
some
говорил какую-то
information.
информацию. Мощные манипуляторы
And
очень
yeah,
успешные, газлайтеры,
women
конечно.
are also strong
Ты купил
manipulators
таблетку?
and
Говорит, нет.
gaslighters.
А она говорит,
Did you
я
buy
тебе
this?
3
He says,
раза
no.
говорю.
But I
Ты
told you
не
3 times. He says, no, you didn't. Oh my god, are you even okay? Oh my god, who I have to live with?
Ты соображаешь вообще? Боже, с кем приходится жить? Начальники
Or
говорят, господи, с кем
as your boss
приходится
can say,
работать?
oh my god,
Я же
who am
тебе
I
вот
only
3
have
раза,
to
100
work
раз
with?
говорю.
I
А вы
told you this
понимаете, что
hundreds
надо
of
говорить,
times.
говорить.
And you
Им
understand you
часто
never
это
heard
делается,
this.
подрывается эта
And the
реальность.
worst thing that
Самое
this
опасное,
happens
самое
between these
страшное, что
realities,
происходит
that
с
this
человеком,
person
это то,
who's
что
being
он сам в
gaslighted
какой-то момент
stops
перестает
understanding where he really is and what is reality, and he starts to believe in what he was told. And sometimes these gaslighters can unite. Imagine a situation when a child has two manipulative parents who both gaslight him. When one is a strong gaslighter, usually it's actually a mother, and father is more passive supporter of mother. So this mother says to her kid, "Do you even understand what you just say? Did you see this?" And the second parents nods like, "Yeah, yeah." And she continues, "Do you think this is normal? What is this? Do you think normal people act like this?" And then she starts to laugh at her child in unite with other parents. And in this situation, this child is lost and he doesn't understand where exactly is his fault, and he is very vulnerable at this time.
Он настолько не уверен и уязвим, и он не понимает, что происходит, в чем он виноват.
And such people suffer from learned helplessness and weakness because they can't rely on themselves. They don't know what they did wrong or right, and they also hear, "Oh, but you must be smart. Why didn't you realize this?" And again, this is substitution of concepts. For example, I want my son to do only what I need, so I tell him, "Oh, but you are smart. How can you not understand that you have to help your parents instead of playing with other kids?" So I make this kid my personal helper, so he thinks that being smart means to listen what I say.
Для него означает, что быть умным, это означает, что надо слушать то, что я говорю, то, что говорит мама.
Somebody comments this phrase we also hear, "I was raising a good child, but I raised you." Oh, I'm truly sorry for you. And we hear this almost every day. "Oh my god, who made you such an idiot?" And this is so painful to hear. And high five to those who've been through the same.
Это жесть,
And this is
да,
insane,
это
truly
очень тяжело,
insane.
потому что ты сомневаешься в
And
себе.
it's very
Ты
hard
не
because
понимаешь,
you doubt yourself and
ты
don't
права или ты
understand
не
if you're
права, как
right or not.
правильно. Да,
And yeah, the
человек,
person who is a victim of
является
manipulations
жертвой
cannot
манипуляций, он
really
реально,
prove anything because
знаете,
when he
не
starts to
может
prove,
доказать. Он
he ends
начинает
up having no
доказывать, он,
strength to
газлайтер,
do that.
бессилен. Он не
And he
может
can't even
вообще
get
никак,
distracted from all of this.
ну, как-то
And with
абстрагироваться
time,
от этого
he
всего.
stops
И
to
он со
trust his
временем что
feelings,
происходит? Он
he stops
перестает
leaning
доверять
on
своим
himself,
чувствам, он
which means
перестает
that his
опираться на
personality is
себя. Это
shattered
значит, что
and
его
his
личность,
ego is being shattered.
расшатывается,
And
его
he truly can
эго,
go
вот
crazy, it's
надо
true.
сказать, его эго, да, расшатывается. То есть у него в голове, да, можно Рейнмен, можно сойти с ума, это правда, потому что так и сводят с ума. Очень часто вот этот фильм, про который газовый свет,
And this
из-за
term
которого
came
назвали
from
вот
this
этот
movie,
термин
Gaslight,
газлайтинг
which
появился, потому что
because
именно
that's
в
how they
фильме
use it to
Тарантино
drive people
так
mad.
сводили с ума героев.
And what
То есть
happens?
это действительно сводит с
Personality
ума. Что
shatters,
происходит?
ego shatters,
Личность
person doesn't
расщепляется,
trust his
эго
feelings and
расщепляется.
doesn't
Человек не
know if
может,
he's
не
being
умеет
right
доверять
or
своим
not,
чувствам. Он не
and
знает,
he
прав он
always
или не
doubts.
прав.
You
Он
can
все время
blame him and
сомневается,
he
его
will
можно
believe in this.
обвинить. Вот он
Look, when
последний
I
раз
grew
говорил,
up,
я
I
не
couldn't
знала,
understand
права я или
was
не
if I was
права.
right or not. Was it
Виновата
my
я на
fault
самом
or
деле
not?
или
And
не
this is
виновата. Вот это
scary.
чудовищно
It's really
страшно.
scary when you are
Как это
being blamed
чудовищно
and you
страшно,
just
когда
don't
ты не знаешь,
know
тебе
if
говорят, ты
you are really
виновата, тебя
guilty or
обвиняют, а
not.
ты не знаешь, ты
Because it's
виновата
an
или нет. И
automatic
первая
reaction of your
автоматическая
brain,
реакция
like,
твоего
I
мозга
am
это то, что
guilty, I
ты
am
не виновата, не
guilty.
виновата. А
And
потом
only
уже
after you
начинаешь
start to
думать,
think
может, ты
about
виновата,
it
может, ты не
and you
виновата.
start to ask
И ты
other
как будто
people
бы
their
начинаешь,
opinion, you ask them to
ты
help you to
спрашиваешь,
understand the
выбираешь
situation.
разговоры. Мои клиенты говорят, Лиля, скажи мне, вот я виновата в том-то или нет? Ты мне скажи, помоги разобраться. Смотрите.
Veronica
Да, у меня
writes,
бабушка психически
yes,
больная,
my
вот пишет
grandma is mentally
Вероника,
ill
и
and she
постоянно
always
говорит, что
tells me
тебе
I
показалось.
imagined
Да,
this
да, да,
or
потому что
saw it
люди
in a
с
dream.
психическими
Yeah,
диагнозами, это вообще
especially I
отдельная
see very,
история,
very
там
oftenly
очень,
that
да, и
mentally
очень
ill
часто
people,
верующие
especially
люди
those who
сталкиваются,
do
что люди с
not confirm
психопатическими
their
вот
mentally
психологическими
ill,
проблемами,
usually
паническими,
start to seek
любят,
these problems in
особенно те, кто
other
не
people.
признают
So
себе,
they advise you
включая
to
свои
get
собственные болезни, когда вы не
antidepressants, to
признаете в
go to
себе
a
то, что
hospital, and
искать
etc.
вам в других людях.
And
Он
it's
говорит,
really
что
dangerous. The
ты
personality
тоже с
shatters, the
головой, да, ты
person
под
loses
действием
their
депрессантов,
point of
альгинка,
view,
там,
and this is the
чем-то,
person
там, ляжь в больничку полечись.
who can't describe their
Да,
opinion.
с ними опасно
There's
жить,
a
очень
really low
опасно.
self
Личность
esteem, so they
расщепляется,
can't understand
человек
what
теряет
really
свою точку
happened.
зрения.
And it's scary.
Что такое
And
человек
they
без
lose
точки зрения?
individuality
Человек,
and their
который не
personality.
может описать свое мнение. Он в поисках своего мнения, он не может понять, что произошло. Самооценка там очень низкая. Это очень страшно. И теряется как бы индивидуальность, теряется личность. Можно ли изменить
Somebody
газлайтера
asks
родителей,
if we
спрашивает
can change our gaslighting parents.
Рейнмен,
Oh,
спасибо
yes,
большое.
thank
Да,
you
вы
for
тоже классные.
compliments. Thank
Спасибо,
you.
дорогие мои. Вы знаете,
So,
можно ли
if the
изменить? Зависит
person
от одного,
realizes
что он
what he
делает,
does,
потому что очень много
because many
реабилитации
things we get
есть.
from our
То
family
есть
automatically
людям
and then use them in
такие
adult life.
повадки
So, if
автоматически
you've been gaslighted
меняются,
from
какие-то
childhood
подходы.
and
Если
was
вас
told these
газлайтили
phrases
в детстве,
since
если вам эти
childhood,
фразы говорили с
what does
детства,
gaslighter
как
says?
говорит
You are
газлайтер, ты
always late,
всегда
you are
опаздываешь, ты
always
всегда
stupid, so
глупишь,
they speak
ты
with double
всегда, он
standards.
упрекает,
So,
да, он
when she did a
говорит
mistake, she had an
твои
important reason for it,
нестандартные,
but when you did a
она
mistake, then
ошиблась,
it's
то
a
были
shame of
важные
the year.
причины, ваша мама ошиблась, то были важные причины. А вот если вы ошиблись, это просто, ну, не знаю, там, позор года, да, позор года какого-то. Факты они отрицают намеренно. Что такое?
And in fact, they intentionally deny everything. Who is a gaslighter? It's a person. Yulia writes she's very thankful to me and sense that she feels supported by me. Well, you know, I'm
И
very happy to support all of you truly.
мне
And once I
поделиться
got asked why do I use
чувством. Бывает, что
swear
я
words when I'm live,
охуеть
why I always use
полный
these bad
пиздец,
words. And
что
they
тут
say
сука
I'm an
употребляют такие слова,
educated person
пиздец,
and a
как пиздец,
psychologist.
что
How can I
вообще
speak like that?
психолог, ну как
But
это
you know
может
why?
бывать? Знаете
Because I'm being
почему?
honest.
Потому что я
And
стараюсь
speakers, do you
искренне
understand when a
говорить так,
person has
как
pain in
если
life?
бы
He has
как
nobody to rely
человека,
on.
да, вот
So,
понимаете,
do you
когда
think
вот
he
ему в жизни
speaks in
больно,
such educated way?
не
When he has
наговорать,
troubles, he
знаете, какую
doesn't come home and
разговаривать,
say,
что он не
"Oh,
разговаривает
I'm having
интеллектуально,
existential
интеллигентно. Когда у
crisis."
него в жизни
When he has a
жопа, он
depression,
никогда
he
в жизни
doesn't
не
say,
говорит.
"Oh, I can't
Когда он
realize what do I
экзистенциально
want,
кризис,
so I'm
когда у
searching."
него реально
No, he
депрессия,
doesn't
он
say
тебе
it. He
говорит,
says how
я
shitty
просто
his life is
ничего
and
не
how
могу
much pain he
сделать.
has and how he
Такое
doesn't know what to
трансцендентное
do. That's what
состояние,
he
пиздец,
says.
блядь.
And
Вот
I
это вот
know
ему
what
говорит.
all of
Он
this
говорит,
means.
у
I
меня
know it.
полная
I know this
задница,
person
мне
can
так
rely on me.
больно,
I
что
know
я не
because I want
знаю,
to
что
show
мне
it, to
делать. Я
show
не
that
хочу
I
жить в этом
understand
миру.
many
Вот
of
так
you.
говорит
I
человек.
know it by
И когда он
myself, by
слышит
my
что-то
clients,
такое
and I'm very
в моих
emotionally
словах, а я
sensitive
знаю, что
person, so
такое
I
может
can really
случиться, друзья
feel
мои,
the
не
person
понаслышке.
near
Я
me
знаю, что на меня
physically.
человек может опираться. Я знаю, потому что я хочу передать. Я хочу передать, что я понимаю очень многих из вас. Понимаю не понаслышке, понимаю через своих клиентов, понимаю через ту эмпатию, которая у меня с детства. Я очень чувствительный, эмоциональный человек. И я точно могу почувствовать с человеком рядом его физически, почувствовать его боль.
Sometimes on my consultations with clients, I said that I feel like I'm going to throw up because of their story. And they tell me, yeah, that's exactly what I feel. How do you know? Because empathy is like extraterrestrial feature when you can feel things and feel how other person feels and you can share it with him, you can understand him, so he knows that he's not alone, he's not crazy, and he's not bad, and it's not his fault, and that he has somebody he can rely on, somebody with stable psyche and somebody who will not leave him.
И тот, кто не уйдет и не бросит, тот, кто на его уровне сейчас рассуждает. Вот и все. Ну как можно по-другому назвать пиздец? Я согласна
Somebody
с вами,
comments,
Дима,
what's
да,
other
как
way
по-другому
to
можно
describe
назвать?
shitty
У
situation?
меня отец
There
так
is
будет
just no
говорить,
such
никогда и
way.
ты никогда, да,
My
Дим,
father
сочувствую.
says
Такое
that
обобщение,
I'm
это очень
either
большая
always
манипуляция,
or
потому что
never. Yeah,
всегда
I'm
это
sorry
как?
for you,
Это
and
что
it's a
такое?
huge
Что это
generalization
входит
because
всегда?
always is
Всегда.
what? When?
Вот. А что
How?
такое
What does
никогда?
it
Вот
mean?
что может
The sun
подойти в этом
rises
мире под
always, and
слово никогда?
what about never?
Никогда
What
кенгуру на
is
Луне не
never?
буду гулять,
I can
короче.
only think that you will
Никогда.
never
Это
see a
какая-то
kangaroo
вот,
on the
это
moon.
такие вот,
So,
знаете,
this is
подмены
always
понятий,
substitution of
которые
concepts
газлайтеры очень
that
сильно мощно часто
gaslighters use
используют.
very oftenly.
Очень жаль, что этого боятся открыться. Да, очень важно
And
иметь
yes, it's
такого
very
человека.
important to have person you can open up to.
Да,
And
да,
in my
да.
opinion, you must have
Я
such
считаю,
person
что
at
такой
least
человек хотя бы в
on the
интернете у вас
internet.
должен быть.
So if you need me, you have me.
Друзья мои, я у вас есть.
And look,
Смотрите,
who will
тут,
suffer the
кто
most
страдает
from
больше всего от
gaslighters?
газлайтеров?
People
Люди,
whose
которые
parents
газлайтерами
also
родители.
was gaslighters. People who had
Люди,
parents
которые были
gaslighters who
газлайтерами их родителей, которые
manipulated them.
манипулировали.
Who else?
Кто
People
еще?
with
Люди с
unstable
нестабильной
self-esteem,
самооценкой,
with
то есть
low
низкой
self-esteem,
самооценкой.
people with
Как
personality disorders.
человек может быть
A
с
person
хорошей
actually
самооценкой,
can have a good
нормально,
and
но
normal
всю жизнь
self-esteem,
отождествляет
but
депрессию.
he has
Он потерялся,
depression.
например,
He
уволился
got
с работы.
lost and quit
Так,
his
знаете,
job.
бывает, человек
And
супер хороший, да?
how it
Вот
happened
у меня
after
была
funerals.
девочка как-то
I will tell
в
you
глубоком
example when
сознании,
I will
эти
change
штуки
all
меняют всю
of the personal
информацию,
information, of
да?
course. So
Вот,
I
и
had this girl
хранить
in therapy who
конфиденциальность.
lost
Потому что
her
эта
close
девочка, она
loved person. It
была,
was her mother. And after funerals,
потеряла
she talked for a long time
человека,
with a
потеряла
foreign
мать,
person
похоронила,
on the
и
internet.
долго общалась с
Then
иностранцем, и
he
вот
proposed to her and she
она
moved to another country.
стресса переезжает в другую
And look
страну.
at this
Смотрите, какой
stress.
стресс.
Funeral, loss of her mother, her
Психика
psyche
уже
is
там,
already
да,
shattered
получила
and
большой
stressed.
стресс. И
And
девочка
this
выросла
girl
очень
is
сильная
from a
девочка,
very good
достаточно
family.
здоровая, всё
And she
хорошо,
had no emotional
всё
trauma in her childhood,
всё, никаких
so
таких
she
глубоких
gets married and
эмоциональных
gets
потрясений в
immigrated.
её детстве не было. Посмотрите, она выходит
In this other country, she is fully dependent from her husband, even though she has education and had a job before. So, but she loses everything. And what happens?
теряет контакты с своими друзьями, теряет себя в свои какие-то а, рабочие процессы, она теряет это все, и у нее появляется, знаете что,
Her self esteem gets lower and lower. She starts to have anxiety about the future. And then her husband makes all of this worse because he's a huge manipulator and gaslighter and always says these phrases to her that
таким мощным, значит, манипулятором махровым, он начинает ее добивать.
you are always like this, or you'll never do this. No, I didn't offend you. I told you the truth. You made a mistake and this and that and this and that. And this is truly a game of words on a high level.
Назвал ее дурой, а потом вот так вот, знаете, игра слов на высшем уровне. Это вообще невозможно передать. Вы знаете,
I am personally not a gaslighter to even make a good examples, so I am actually asking you to tell us your experience and your examples because it's just a higher level. So such person can make you feel guilty even if it's 100% his fault. So it's always about, no, I didn't just call you stupid and brainless. If you would listen to me till the end, you would see that it wasn't my point. Let's check your IQ and see if your brain works normally.
Давай замеряем твой IQ, давай не будем голословными. Ну какая у тебя работа? Ну вот что ты, ну вот давай тест IQ пройди. Вот кто может похвастаться высоким IQ? Вот прям очень высоким.
And imagine this girl who was on my therapy sessions, she really started to do these IQ tests on foreign language. And of course she didn't have high results, especially because she was highly stressed, so results were lower than they must have been. So in 1 year of living there, she turned from this independent woman, and when you see her photo and see before and after, from successful woman, she turned into a grey mouse who doesn't even need herself. And on consultations with me, she couldn't realize what was the reason of her depression. Because gaslight victims usually come on therapy having a depression, and they can't see the reason and cannot understand what is going on. And what's the reason? How does the victims get into this trap? Because they do not recognize this manipulation. They don't realize that this husband, this friend, their mother, this colleague manipulates them. And they can't see this abuse. Active aggressor always tells you all in the face. He says you're this and you're that, and you are like, oh, you see, and you start to defend yourself because you hear these words directly to yourself and you can defend. And gaslighter doesn't punch you in the face by saying words directly to you. He just slightly slaps you on your cheeks. And just imagine getting these slaps for a year. In a year, these places where you've gotten these slaps will look like after a fight. And they will do this until you believe in these words. Wow, how many of us is here? 170 here and 25 on Instagram. 195 people online. Nice! Did Instagram stopped? Looks
Да,
like
это
no.
очень часто
And so,
встречается.
yes,
И
it
тогда вот,
happens
да, совершенно
pretty
верно,
usual with
когда
foreign
вот
guys who
психопаты,
marry
которые там
our
ни одна
women
иностранка там была
because they
не
know that their
потерпит,
women
и
won't
хорошенечко их
tolerate
там
such behavior, so they
задаст
search
такого
for our
газлайтера, что он
girls,
сам
first
охренеет.
shown
Да,
up
там,
as this
конечно, очень такие
princess,
истории
and
бывают, и
they
в моей
then
практике
show their
бывает, что вот
true
какой-то
when
такой
this girl is
уебок
trapped in their
иностранный женится
country.
на нашей девочке, корчит из себя принца такого на белом, значит, на белой коняке, и после этого оказывается, что он сам коняка, понимаете, оказывается, что он сам коняка. Как
Somebody
распознать
asks
личность
how to
своей
establish
личности?
your
Сейчас,
personality
дорогая
after
Злата, я
this.
сейчас об этом расскажу.
Actually, thank you
Спасибо
so
тебе
much for
огромное,
this
я прям
question
слушаю.
because this is exactly what I'm going to
Безусловно.
talk about now.
Так,
As usually, I
давайте
say
поговорим
a
о
lot of
том,
things,
хорошо, что
but
мы
I
про
remember my
газлайтинг
plan
уже
of my speech.
поговорили, кто попадает, поговорили, да, то есть
So,
попадают
we
на
talked
самом
about
деле те,
what is
которые
gaslighting,
никогда
who can be
они
victims
не видят
of it.
разницы
So,
между
it can be people who
манипуляцией,
don't
унижением,
recognize
не унижением.
manipulations and
Вот
mental
как
abuse, who
увидеть
don't
эту
see the
разницу?
difference between
Я вам так
humiliation
скажу,
and not
это
humiliation.
личностные границы.
But how to see
И
this difference?
чтобы
I will
почувствовать,
tell you
где
that it's
нарушаются
all
ваши
about your
личностные
personal
границы,
boundaries.
давайте так, сейчас
You
вспомните
need to
ситуацию.
feel and
Вроде бы
notice
вам ничего
where
такого плохого
exactly
не
your
сказали.
personal boundaries are
Вас
being
никто не орал
interrupted.
на вас, не
And
обижал,
now remember
ничего
the
кривого
situation
вам
where
не
it seems
говорили,
like
не
you
делали.
haven't been
Причем
told
никакой
anything bad,
манипуляции не было.
and
Но
nobody was yelling at
вы
you
с
or
этим
beating
человеком
you,
начали
nobody,
чувствовать себя
nothing
очень
direct was
неуверенно.
done or
Ваша
said to you.
диафрагма
There
этого
was no direct
слизистого. Вот
communication, but
ваша
at
диафрагма
that
вот так
moment,
вот
with this
сделала.
person, you started
Как
to
будто
feel
бы вот так вот
very
сделала всякий
insecure.
такой. Она так
Your
вот
diaphragm,
стоп,
which is
пожалуйста.
located right on the chest,
Вот
right
здесь, в
here,
грудине, вот
it
так
feels like it
ямочки.
became smaller.
Вы почувствовали
As this
мощное
happened,
изменение в
as
сердце.
there happened some
Какая
like tick,
тревога.
so something shrinked
У
inside
вас,
your
значит,
chest.
может
You
быть
felt your
гормональный
heart
фон.
beating faster, you
И
felt
вот это
anxiety, maybe your
волнение по
hands
всему
started to
телу,
shake or
телу
body, because
никогда
our
не
body
было.
never
Поэтому,
lies.
как почувствовать
So, how to
газлайтинг?
feel
Любая
you're being
манипуляция делается
gaslighted or
тогда,
any other
если в вашем теле
manipulation?
начинается
Body
вот
never
это вот,
lies. So, if you start to feel
вот
like you
это
are
вот,
shaking inside, it
то
means you are dealing
вы
with manipulator.
явно имеете дело с манипулятором. Это да, да, ну скорее даже не страх,
And
потому
it's
что
not
Роман,
even fear.
Алексеевна,
It's not fear
Лена,
because fear
Алексеенко, дорогие, я
is
так
when you know
напишу,
what you are
да,
afraid of.
извините.
For example, I'm afraid of
Вы
public
начинаете
speaking.
чувствовать, что страх это
We
когда ты
understand this.
знаешь,
Or
что ты
I'm
боишься.
scared
Я
of
боюсь
wolves. All
публичных
clear,
мест.
okay.
Понятно.
And
Я
this is
боюсь дикого
not a
животного.
fear,
Все
it's
ясно,
anxiety.
правда?
It's
Я
different
боюсь
from
там,
fear
не
because you
знаю,
have no idea what you are scared of. Looks like
Отлично.
you're in
А
danger,
этот
but you
живот
can't
немного
see it.
от страха
So your
отличается.
body
Ты
starts
не
to shrink
знаешь,
inside,
ты не
especially your
знаешь,
stomach.
чего ты боишься. Вроде как бы есть какая-то угроза, но она незрима, ее нет. И вот сжимается тело, начинает сжиматься. Иногда впадает в живот, так, чик, напрягается. Угу. Посмотрите. Все. Голова может
And you
болеть,
can even have a
может
headache,
голова
so
болеть, если вы
this
индивидуально
danger
говорите.
can't be seen.
Да, она незрима.
It's when you have to
Вот так
say
вот
to your
газлайтинг. Вам
gaslighter,
приходится
"Why are you
говорить,
saying this
зачем
to
ты
me?"
так говоришь?
And he responds,
А он
"What?
говорит,
I was joking.
я же
Why are you
просто
so offended?
пошутил.
You must go to
Ты что,
therapy."
вообще
And
обиделась?
you
Ты
start to cry because you feel offended, and he says,
Почему?
"Listen, you really need help because I didn't say
А
anything
ты
to you."
говоришь, не обидно, ты меня обидел, ты меня унизил. А он говорит, слушай, по-моему, тебе пора к психиатру. Слушай, я реально ничего, ты чё? Все, то есть человек тонко.
So this person, by using his tone of voice, sarcasm, manipulations, made you feel your point of pain when you feel indignity and shame, guilt and offense. So he just jokes on you, and all these jokes are gaslighting.
Вот этой боли, вот этого унижения, стыда, вины, обиды, подъеб, совершенно верно. Он как будто вас подъебнул. Вот, блин, вот не скажешь без матюка, ну не скажешь. Подкол, подъеб. Вот подъебка. Вот подъебка это газлайтинг. Да, ничего
Yeah,
плохого не сказала.
I just had a boss like that when you come to her office and she starts this ambiguous talking in two senses. The first one seems like you're getting a normal task, and the second one uh, seems like she tells you you are not able to do it. In the first sense, it seems like you are always working, and in the second, like you really do nothing. And it happened always, and she never yelled, never raised her voice, but she made us so mad that one woman started to yell on her so much because she couldn't stand it anymore. She even broke her vase. Can you even imagine?
Что одна женщина зашла к ней в кабинет и так, знаете, не выдержала бедолага. Так орала на нее там. И даже вазу на столе разъебашила. Представляете? И, конечно же,
And that's how, by being aggressive on this boss, she got a reputation of inadequate person, even though yeah, you always want to punch these people in the face because of their behavior, and when you are mad at them by understandable reason, they make a psychopath out of you and start to say you need to see the doctor, or even say they're going to get divorced with you and take kids out from you. See?
заберу детей, запугивает он, понимаете? Вот так вот. А Ксюшечка,
Oh, Ksyusha, hello.
в постели. Оксана сексолог.
Our Oksana is with us on Instagram. She's an awesome sexologist. But I don't know, maybe I will end this live on Instagram a little earlier. So if it will end, I'm just saying you goodbye in that case. For those who are on my Instagram live now.
Рада тебя видеть, Оксана.
But now we're continuing. Okay, it's our 46 minutes of live on YouTube.
Давай.
Glad to see you, Oksana.
Как же
You
реагировать
are
на
awesome sexologist.
Gaslight
And yes, this live will be saved on YouTube, so you will be able to watch it for free always, whenever you want, for sure.
Всё. Ребятки, как на это
So how should we react on these manipulations? Actually, I have a whole training named Puppeteer Chronicles. It's 12 hours of talking about manipulations. And this November, we'll start a second one new training of Puppeteer Chronicles. It will be different from the first part, and there will also be 12 hours speaking of manipulations. I renewed it, and I have so much new information about how to see these manipulations and how to react on them.
очень много нового о том, как противостоять манипуляциям, как видеть их, как выходить тоже сухим из воды.
And I can truly say that in my videos I give like 90% of information for free. I think psychology must be very affordable, but there are things that must be given differently. So as you can see, this 12 hours is a whole different format. So come to my course. I will do ads about it more, and you will see the link in my bio here.
У меня в соцсетях будут все ссылки, скоро появится реклама на него, скоро его анонсируем. И здесь в YouTube под видео этим появится ссылка на регистрацию.
So,
Так вот,
to react on these manipulations in the right way, you have to think from a place of defense.
я на это так
Who you are?
знаете, я вам
Why are you reacting on it like that?
сука согласна.
If I will tell you that you are an Australian kangaroo with crossed eyes, will you believe in it?
Австралийская
I am telling you, you are cross-eyed Australian kangaroo. Write down in the comments, do you believe in it? And it's very important right now. Raise your hand, those, and give me a plus in the comments, those who believe that they are Australian kangaroos.
Нет,
And give me a minus sign, those who didn't believe in these words.
нет. Ржете до
Yeah, you are laughing and not believing, and yes, come to my training, come. It will be awesome. I would even come there myself. Somebody says as if Australian kangaroo is something bad. Okay, if I would tell you you are Chinese, when you are clearly not, would you believe me?
Вы бы поверили? Или что вы, не знаю, там, папуас, вот, из Папуа Новой Гвинеи с копьем. Вы в это
No, you wouldn't.
Нет.
Friends, I'm very happy that all of us are wholesome here. But for some reason, when you are being told you are stupid, brainless, you are an idiot,
Дебилка.
when they doubt your reality, you believe in it.
идиотиком, да? Когда сомневаются в вашей реальности, вот, тогда вы верите. Если вам скажут, что у вас не
If
совсем
they will ask, are you sure about it?
вы
Truly
уверены в
sure?
этом? Это точно, правда? Да ладно, все мы немного папуасы. Я так точно вообще. Если они так делают папуасы. Так. О, Ната пишет дело.
Oh, and
Вот
one
видите,
person
это
says
нам
a
же
very good
не
words.
кто-то говорит, а мы
It's
сами.
not being told
Вот,
by
дорогие.
somebody to us,
Если
it's
ваше,
us who say
ваше
it
сердце
to ourselves.
возникает
Yes,
какая-то обидная
it is,
мысль, это
my
значит,
dear.
что вас
If you
немножко
react to
ранило.
some offensive
Это
words,
значит, что
it
там
means
есть
you have
прокол,
a
там
hole
есть
inside
там
that
есть
lets it in.
щель,
It means
через
that this hole
которую
was made by
проходит
somebody
эта пыль.
in your
Значит,
past.
когда-то
But who
эту
was
пыль,
it? Who
эту
doubted
щель,
earlier that you're smart?
эту
Who
дырку в
doubted
щель
your
кто-то сделал.
reality?
Ее кто-то там уже пробил. Кто? Кто ранее сомневался в том, что вы умны? Кто ранее сомневался в вашей жизни? Кто раскачал эту щель? Кто ее сделал? Кенгуру! Правильно!
Yeah,
Ответ
kangaroo.
принимается
Yeah,
100%.
that's the right answer. Awesome, kangaroo. Hallucinations is our
Кенгуру
everything.
сделал.
I
Отлично.
love you guys, it's
Отлично.
awesome.
Галлюцинации – это наше все. Я вас обожаю, дорогие мои. Прекрасно. Родители.
Yes, and the right
Да,
answer
да,
is
да,
our parents.
родители. Часто в
Exactly,
семье
parents.
это уже происходит.
Often it happened in your
В
family
школе,
before,
учителя,
in
это уже
school, by your
происходило.
teachers.
И это происходило
It
с кем?
already
С вами,
happened.
когда вы были
It happened to
маленькие,
you when
когда
you were
вашим
little,
близким.
and it's
Кого можно на это
very
рассчитать?
easy to get done
Ребенка,
with a
правильно.
child because a child
Ребенок
can't
может
defend
справиться по
himself.
ситуации. Но
I will
если
be honest
вдруг,
with
вот я
you.
вам честно скажу, что нет,
I
я
do
много
consultations for a very long time,
и я
and I
вижу
see
деток,
children
которые
who were
просто
raised in a
сидел
family
такой.
of
Для них
alcoholics.
бухать
They were
и
raised
такое
in a
это
family with
нормально.
sick
Полная
and
норма.
mad parents,
Они
and many
возьмите
of the
такие
things that was
сумасшедшие
done by
родители,
their parents
больные
became
родители,
a normal
сидящие.
reality
Для
for
них
them.
многое, то,
If
что
you take a
делали
child who was
родители,
raised in a
норма.
family of
Если вы увидите
uneducated
ребенка,
people who
который
are
говорит
picking one's
очень
nose, who
необразованным языком,
slurp
который
and
ковыряется
do
носом,
noises while
да,
eating
чмокают
or
там
behave
клюквой за
unethically,
столом, да,
I
там
think you all understand
не знаю,
of
как
who I talk
бегают,
about.
да, там
Of
неприятно,
children who were raised in a family of failed people, of immature people. So these children do after their parents and copy them like Mowglis. And somehow I've been through this too.
у незрелых людей запущенная вот эта вот педагогическая запущенность. Они повторяют за своими родителями. Они немножко Маугли. Вот я сама где-то в каком-то смысле это прошла, да, вот когда ты растешь там наполовину практически на улице, и ты как гопник потом общаешься, ну, наверное, вы видите по мне, да? Есть такое, вот оно прочувствуется.
So, if person doesn't work on himself, it's trouble. Because usually parents give us this state of mind and their trauma. Sometimes they can even give us their uncertainty. And it's them who did this hole in you. Someone asks why they have to act ethically. Well, don't do it if you don't want. I don't care. It was just an example. And other one says, I was raised like a kangaroo and now I hate them. Yeah, I see. Somebody says they're too attracted to my chair. Oh, and that's only a start. And yes, our parents do these things to us automatically because their parents did this to them also. And actually, you know, I've read once this quote. Why can't every adult come together and reach an agreement? But when I grew up, I realized that there are no adults at all. And yeah, that's actually true. Adults are mostly truly just kids who were hurt in childhood. And if you don't work on yourself, you're going to give all of your traumas and complexes to your kids. So, how do we defend ourselves from gaslight? First of all, we need to ask, stop, 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 stop. How did this get inside of me? And then start to analyze our reactions. We open our emotional diary and write down what did just happened. I talked to this person. What do I think about myself after this? Okay, for example, I think I am stupid. What do I feel? I feel humiliated and sad. For how much from 1 to 10 do I feel this emotion? For example, for 8 points. What do I really want right now? I want to figure everything out. So then we open a page with all of our needs and search what exactly we are craving now and write it down. What do I think now while knowing my needs? That their words do not do with me anything. And really, I am a worthy person. And the next question is, what do I think now after realizing all of these things? And you write that, for example, after all of this, you don't believe in words you've heard about yourself, and you know you are not stupid but smart and worthy person. And that one who offended you is a bad person in your opinion, for example.
Я не реагирую на просто какие-то замечания, других людей, которые ко мне не имеют никакого отношения. Что это? ТП, что это такое? Я сейчас вам расскажу, Галина, подождите секундочку, я вам расскажу прикол на эту тему. Вот. И теперь мы оцениваем наши чувства. Например, что я чувствую теперь, когда я говорю, подожди, стоп. Борис Борисович думает, что я ТПшка.
And what do you feel now? Joy, because I realized the truth. And the next question is, what do I choose to think about? Of course, I choose to think about that I'm a great person and I did everything well. And you can write there everything you want, everything you think about.
По шкале от 1 до 10 на сколько? Может быть на пятерочку, может быть на десяточку. По-разному. Но мне лучше чувствовать радость на пятерочку, чем печаль на восьмерочку, правда? Все, едем дальше. Что я выбираю думать? Конечно, я выбираю думать, что я большая молодец. Все, что я классная, вот здесь вот, что я нормальная девчонка. Или я не потерплю такого отношения. Вы можете сюда писать все, что угодно.
But for what do we do that? To do analysis of our emotional state in 1 week. That's how it looks. So you analyze what destructive thoughts you've had this week. And what destructive thought leads you to state where you have no resources. And after that, you will see everybody who was manipulating you face to face. And this diary costs like $10, which is nothing, and I will send it to you whenever you are and wherever you are. And if you don't want to spend $10, okay, no problem. Just get a notebook and write down these questions by yourself. And you can search a video how to help yourself without a therapist, and there will be all advices from me. If you don't see it, write me on Instagram and I will send you a document with all of these questions for sure. But it's very important to understand how does it works and what exactly makes you mad. And then you see who gaslights you. You decide to not react on their words anymore. What makes me mad? For example, when people tell me I'm stupid, when they doubt me, or when they say I'm not beautiful. I just blocked few more haters here, thankfully. So yeah, and it will help you to help yourself without your therapist. This diary helps therapy to be faster and even more deep. Oh, okay, see, life on Instagram has ended. So this diary works, makes you work on yourself more deep. And what's next? Now, what's next? Someone says that $10 is nothing for this diary. And yeah, I will tell you that this diary is made very good. It has a good paper and it will be enough for you to use for months every day. So for its quality, this is a good money to be paid. And it was impossible to really make it cost less. We didn't create it to make money, and we really are working hard for it to be organized, well made, and sent to you. And we did it not to make money, but for you to help yourself without therapist. And you have to understand that when we create some projects, when me and Max create some trainings or a course or even a video, we always follow one idea, which is to make psychology affordable and simple. I want it to be like medicine because when a child cut himself by an accident, his mother knows how to help him. But when her child becomes more closed from her and doesn't speak to her or even start to be aggressive, such mother can make it even worse by not knowing what exactly to do. And I want psychology to be accessible for her to open Google and see right healthy results right away. If she doesn't have this $10, okay, she can write to me directly and I will send it to her so she will understand how to work with herself. The thing is that it's so hard to live in society in a country or countries where there is such a big technical progress, but in minds people have nothing. And we don't understand ourselves. We don't know our feelings. We don't know our body and our body language. We can't build relationships with our loved people, can't get more closer to them. And how many people with no relationships I only have in therapy? Anyway, so we understood what kind of people became victims of gaslighting. It's people with low self-esteem or codependent people as they are being oftenly called. I actually have a training called Getting Out of Codependent Relationships where I talk exactly about these people and how this codependence is being nourished in themselves.
Не-не-не, мы не по теме, Сашенька, нельзя, не могу, потому что хочу закончить, и уже и так больше часа времени.
Oh, I'm here again. Guys, do you hear me?
Ребятки, как меня слышно, нет?
Write down if I'm live or no, please. Okay, nice. Yay! We can continue now, finally. So, who are these people who can be easily manipulated? They are people with lots of these holes in their soul and heart. So these holes make them be codependent from other one's opinion. They are codependent from other one's opinion. Or sometimes it happens that these people are vice versa, very closed, so they are not codependent but counter-dependent. So it's hard for them to get in contact, and when they finally get in touch with other person, they start to overtrust. So after the deal with gaslighter, it's very, very hard for them to get back to reality.
Плюшкин, да ничего страшного, приходите
I
завтра
recommend you to
задать
come to me on
вопросы,
Thursdays on
приходите
my live
завтра
where I
задавать
answer
ваши
all of
вопросы.
your
В
questions. It will
20:00
be my pleasure
эфир,
to answer
где я
them.
отвечаю на вопросы. Я с удовольствием отвечу на ваши вопросы. Король это моя фамилия, в паспорте король. Ребятки, не-не-не, никаких псевдонимов. Поехали дальше.
So, in my training,
Так вот,
I
в моем
talk about these
тренинге про
codependent relationships and how to get out of them.
созависимые отношения я
If you
рассказываю
always
именно об
get
этих людях и о том, как
into
выйти из этих
destructive
отношений. Если вы постоянно
relationships,
попадаете
there
в
is
такие
some
деструктивные
reason behind
отношения,
it.
друзья мои,
If you
это не
always get
просто
into
так.
relationships
Если вы
with
постоянно
manipulators,
попадаете в
sociopaths,
отношения с какими-то
psychopaths, it means that there is
ну,
some reason in you, and
манипуляторами,
probably there is
психопатами,
relationships.
социопатами,
These
значит,
relationships
что-то
are
не так с вами,
codependent.
значит, это не так, скорее всего, называется созависимые отношения. Созависимость. Если вы вообще
Or
не
if you
вступаете
don't
ни в
get
какие
into
отношения,
relationships at all,
значит,
there's
да,
also the same
да,
reason, just
отношения.
vice versa.
Это то же самое, только ну, на
So,
обратном случае. Что
what
же
do we
нам
do?
делать?
What do we have to do?
Как же
Especially
противостоять?
without this
Влияние
diary,
это
because I
не
told you this
всякой
technique with my
быстрой
diary
никак.
which works
Да,
on
вот
long
эту
term and
долгосрочную
with any
работу, которую я
situation.
рассказала
So,
вам, технику
what do we
работы
need
с
to do?
любым вопросом, с любой манипуляцией. Что же делать?
We need to adopt.
Возьмите себе
Take it
такую
as a habit
ручку,
to
убрать
not
всё, что
take
такое.
personally everything you
Посмотрите,
hear, but to adopt it. Who is this person?
кто этот
What
человек,
is his
в
competence?
чем его
Why is he so competent to influence me right now?
повлиять на меня.
When you will ask yourself this question, believe me, you will get sober and disconnected, because this state when you want to prove something to this person, when you want to convince him, is called merger.
Потому что вот это состояние, когда вы хотите этому человеку что-то доказать, когда вы хотите его переубедить, называется слияние. Почему я говорю про созависимых людей?
Why do you think I talk about codependent people and invite you on my codependency training?
По созависимости 2 октября мы стартуем.
This second course will start at October 2nd. If you visited my first course, then don't come, it will be the same. But if you haven't, and you have problems and codependent relationships with your partner, mother, or friends, you must come.
У вас не произошла сепарация, вам туго живется, приходите. Ну, я больше подробно о нем потом расскажу. Все.
Okay, so when you adopt this person's words, you start to disconnect from this dependency. Because what happens is that this person starts to adopt you first, and you merge with him, and now imagine you are disconnected from him in a moment, and you start to watch all of it from a side. Why do I react like this? What is truly happening right now? Why is he acting like as if he's so competent over me?
Спрашиваете вы себя. А что на самом деле происходит? А что это он?
This way, you will start to doubt his words instead of doubting yourself.
И когда вы это сделаете, у вас вот это сомнение в его правоте, а не сомнение в себе.
How to stop doubting myself? That's the question you need to ask yourself when you are in a conflict with gaslighter and manipulator.
Это все.
And now, please write down below in the comments, how did you like today's webinar? How did you like this webinar?
Как вам то, что сегодня было? В смысле слились телами? Ну, конечно, Егор.
Under merger, I mean to emotionally merger, not physically, of course.
Вызывает только одну интерпретацию телами. Больше никак. Нет, не телами. Они слились. Эта жертва слилась с газлайтером, с его эмоциями. То есть слияние с эмоциями с другим человеком, понимаете? Вот человек злой, и
When a person is angry, you merge with them and become angry too. They start to doubt your mind, and you merge with them and start to doubt yourself too. You connect to them, and you have to disconnect and break this contact. And while you are writing your impression of today's webinar, I will tell you why gaslighters act like that.
Так, все, дорогие мои. Пока вы пишете свои впечатления от этого эфира, я расскажу, почему газлайтеры так поступают. На самом Раскрою тайну. Любой
So
газлайтер —
each
это
and every
очень,
one
очень,
gaslighter is a very, very
очень
big
большой
coward.
С.
The person who makes you doubt
Человек,
either
который
doubts
заставляет вас
himself too or
сомневаться,
just wants to be in his
сомневается в
dominant
самом себе,
controlling position.
либо
Such a coward.
он хочет, чтобы, ну вот, знаете, быть вот в такой доминирующей, контролирующей позиции. Сыкло! Совершенно верно.
And
Слушайте,
I read your
весьма. Это
comments and
называется
like
ваше
how you guys name things by its name. We are
Вот
just
прям
like the
свой
same person.
человек.
It feels
Вы
like
не
we were
нахальничайте
raised
случайно
together.
у
It's
нас.
such a compliment.
Вот
And
прям,
also it's a
вот как
compliment
будто
for
вы
you. Yeah.
сорослись. Ей-бу. Это комплимент, правда. Все, смотрите. Это
So
очень
this
красивый человек.
person is
Очень
like a
красивый.
rabbit. He
Он не
can't say
приходит
things to you directly. He can't say he disrespects you, he doesn't like you, and etc. He will never say this to you, but he will swim like a rat.
Он никогда так не говорит. Он, знаете, что делает? Он вот так вот, как кардинал Ришелье, да? Он, да что ж такое, ну, посмотри, прорвало. Он вот так вот начинает в тени действовать. Это такая
And this is a
школа,
person who can't take
заставляет.
responsibility on himself.
Это
All
человек, который
gaslighters
не
are
может взять на себя
irresponsible.
ответственность. Все газлайтеры безответственны. Как его остепенить, пристыдить? А, да,
And of
газлайтер
course,
хочет самоутвердиться
they
за
want to
свой
assert
счет,
themselves
расцвести,
at
понятное дело. А
the
зачем
expense of
самоутверждаться
others.
за чужой счет?
But why do
Пусть он
this?
сам
Because
берет,
they know
ничего не
they
может.
are weak and
Это люди
can't do
очень
anything
сильно бессильные.
themselves.
И
So I
поэтому я
want you to
очень
give
даю
you this
мощнейшую
super
технику
strong
работы
technique
с
of
газлайтером.
working with gaslighters.
Представьте, что
Imagine
вы
them as a
маленький
little kids.
ребенок.
And in general, if it's hard for you to communicate with some people, imagine them as little kids. Just little kids. It's just a little kid that says, "No, mommy, I didn't eat all the candies. It was you who ate them. You, not me."
Ты их съела. Вон Камилочка пишет, вонючка газлайтер. Да, вот такой маленький говнюк.
They are these little noisy kids, like, "No, I did learn these words. I did. It's your fault I didn't learn it."
Да, сколько лет ребенку?
Someone asks age of these kids. It doesn't matter. Don't even care about it.
Хоть 5, хоть 10. Вот такие
Imagine
боишься
kids who
детей,
you are not afraid of.
такие бери. Вот такой говнючок. Все.
Someone asks if it's possible to use extreme methods on these gaslighters, to punch them in the face or anything else. Well, of course, you can threaten them by saying you will punch them if they continue, but
Косяк, на Одессу их пошлете. Или хотите применить к ним телесно-ориентированную терапию, на языке психологии скажу, то, понимаете, они...
it's not going to stop them, and they will even use it against you. "Oh, look at your aggression, go see a doctor." So you better look at them and see little kids in them. This way you will see how weak they truly are. You will see a kid who can't be responsible. You won't see the strong person who controls you, but you will see just a little baby.
Ребенка, который не может взять на себя ответственность. Вы увидите перед собой нечто иное. Не того мощного человека, который вами управляет, а пупсика, который не может отвечать за свою жизнь и валит на других.
Yeah, true.
Трусы. Совершенно верно. Совершенно верно. Он пишет: Ольга, вы же девушка. Ну же девушка. Знаете, как девушка может морду дать? Ну что,
So, my friends,
друзья,
tell me your impressions today. It's already been 1 hour and 15 minutes. I made it longer today because I know this topic is very, very important for you. And I wanted to put here everything, but I can't put 12 hours of training into 1 hour of life. So, yeah, but I also miss communication with you and want to know how are you doing. I remember lives where we used to talk and you told me about your life. I remember one person was treating his teeth. If you are here, how is your teeth now? And in general, I am reading comments now, so feel free to tell me how are you because I want to communicate and have close contact with all of you. I want to know you because you know me as well, and I also want to get to know you, my clients. Because when my clients come to my consultations, they say that they like me and love me so much, and I would like to say the same to them, but I want to know you better for this. Yeah, now that's all, my friends. I love you all very, very much. Don't let yourself be gaslighted by someone else. Take care of yourself, love yourself, and follow my channel. Here is a lot of free important information you can use for yourself. And actually, I remember those who asked me to do a webinar about alcoholism. This is for you, listen to it. I will do this free webinar with Andrei Usam on next Monday at 8 p.m. with about alcoholism, gambling addiction, and all kinds of addictions. So I recommend you to come on this webinar because Andrei will be there and he will tell you a lot of things, not only because he knows them, but because he went through them by himself. So come if you are alcoholic's child, if this topic has ever touched you, and write your stories down below so we will discuss them.
Если вы дети алкоголиков, если вы пострадали каким-то образом от у вас родители, не знаю, знакомые, если ваши дети, не дай бог, если вот что-то как-то вас эта тема коснулась, пожалуйста, приходите. Сейчас Андрей сделал, вот он мне писал, что он сделал пост в Фейсбуке. Заходите на мою страничку, вы увидите этот пост. Пожалуйста, пишите, можете писать ему в личку, писать мне, если вас тема коснулась, пишите свои истории, потому что мы хотим подготовиться к эфиру 24-го в 20:00. Приходите со своими вопросами, со своими историями, мы будем все лайв, вживую, будем проводить вебинар для вас бесплатно.
And don't forget to come on my live every Thursdays where I answer your questions. And now that's all. Goodbye, my love.